Good morning. Happy Friday. I feel like our Fridays, we've been moving down to the floor, but it's a really nice way to really allow ourselves to stretch. I'm going to call it Feel Good Fridays from now on. So good morning to our healthcare heroes. Good morning to our community here. My name is Nicole Traum, and this is Lee Health's Healthcare Heroes Self-Care Moment. And being that it's Friday and I'm trying to incorporate more of these feel-good exercises, today we're going to start laying on the floor, and you will need one or two of these things. So you'll need a blanket, and obviously not everyone has one of these. I call this a yoga blanket. It's a Mexican blanket. It's just thick. So if you have a thick kind of steady blanket or a very thick towel, that will do. And then alternatively, and I kind of like this option better, you can use your yoga mat. So you don't have to lay on your yoga mat, especially if you're at home and you're just laying on your floor. You can take that yoga mat and keep it rolled up. And the nice thing about the yoga mat is that you can squeeze it, right? It has a little bit of give. We worked, last week we worked on the calves and used this, and so you might have actually felt that. It has a little bit of forgiveness to it, so it's nice, especially if you're tight. We're gonna start without anything, and we're gonna come to lie on our backs. So as you come to lie back, let's just start to find that nice resting posture. Sometimes when you come back, you have to keep your feet bent or your knees bent here. Take a couple breaths like that. And then when you're ready, you can start to straighten your legs. And even if you want, you can keep those legs a little bit bent. We're gonna inhale the arms up and overhead and just take a nice full body stretch. And then exhale your arms down. Now note that you don't have to touch the floor here. So you're gonna inhale and stretch those arms up, and then exhale down, working your way towards the floor with your hands. If you want to make this more of an integrated exercise, as you inhale and lift your arms, you can start to flex your feet. And then with your exhale, as you lower your arms, you can point the toes. So just kind of going back and forth here, inhaling, stretching those arms up, flexing the feet, and then exhaling as you lower and point the toes. Use your breath here as your own internal rhythm. And as we move, you'll start to feel things open. Don't worry if you can't touch the floor just yet. We will get there. Good. Let's do 3 more like that. Big inhale, stretching the arms up. Alternatively, if you don't want to do this on the floor, you can also do this one with your back against the wall and just stretch your arms up, or just in your chair. That's it. Last round. Perfect. All right, so we're going to inhale those arms up. And then as you exhale, take your right knee in and just draw your nose up towards your knee. Take a couple breaths here, just rounding your back, rounding the neck. Take another deep breath. Good. And then lower down and stretch everything long. Big inhale here as you lengthen. Exhale, left knee comes in. Draw your nose up towards your knee as you breathe, as you stretch. Good. Let's go now side to side like that. Inhale, stretch your arms up. Exhale, your right knee in. Good. Inhale, stretching long. Exhale, left knee in. 2 more times to each side. So big inhale, big exhale as you hug the right knee in. Good. Big inhale and big exhale. If you can't hold on in front of your knee, you can always hold on behind the knee too. Last round. Good. Inhale and exhale. All right. Inhale your arms up long, and then as you exhale, hug your knees in and just start to rock your hips side to side. And you can roll all the way over to your right side. And just take a moment there to pause before you press yourself up. Good. And then use the strength of your upper body to slowly come on up. All right, so that hopefully just woke some things up. You can sit cross-legged or on your knees or whatever feels good here. And we're just gonna start to stretch the side body. So right arm comes down, left arm reaches up and over. Good. And then exhale, inhale that left arm up and over. Sorry, right arm up and over. And then come on back down. One more time to each side. Inhale. Good. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Good. Coming back up here with your elbows at shoulder height. Just start to move. Inhaling to the right and exhaling to the left. Feeling your hips really rooting down here as you sit tall, as you lengthen. Good. One more round of breath. And then come back through center and roll your shoulders onto your back. So we usually start with those circle movements in our chair, and you can do the same thing here on the floor. So just allowing yourself to really move nice and slow. Feeling that stretching happening in your low back and your side body. Maybe even feeling your hips start to release a little bit more. That's it. And then notice your direction, and we're going to change directions now. So just moving nice and slow. Allowing that energy to start to root down, to feel yourself getting into that place of feeling more settled. And sometimes it takes a few minutes. Sometimes it even takes like a full hour of doing yoga before you start to feel that. So give yourself that space today, every day. Good. And then come on back through center now. Inhale, roll your shoulders back, lift your heart. And as you exhale, you can round and pull your belly in. So just moving nice and slow, inhaling, good, and exhaling. 2 more. Inhale and exhale. Good. Last round. All right. And then as you come back up, now we're going to take either your mat or your blanket. So if you're using your mat, you're going to keep it rolled up, and know that you can unroll it a little bit. Alternatively, if you don't have a mat and you just have like a towel or a blanket, you're going to roll that up as well. And the nice thing about it is that you can unroll it as needed. So if it's too intense, know that you can kind of play with that, because we're not fixed into any shape here. So we're going to start with the mat. I'm going to call it a mat, or your blanket, and put it down vertical on your mat. Okay, so we want it to be straight up and down, and it'll be up towards the top of your mat. And what we'll do here, and you might even need that extra blanket or a pillow, you can have it nearby. You're going to bring that mat right about a fist distance between your low back and the mat or the blanket. All right, and we're going to come line ourselves up here and start to lie back. Now, as you come back, you're lining up your spine with the mat. So you're going to feel your shoulders start to soften down. If you need a little extra lift for your head, you can slide that blanket behind you. Just a little extra lift. I don't need that right now. And then I'm going to bring my arms down by my sides. Your knees can stay bent, and you're just going to breathe. So we've got all these little muscles along the sides of our spine, and they get really tight, right? You may even notice here as you're laying back that you're feeling, I'm going to scoot down a little, that you're feeling some of those muscles really starting to release. And you can rock a little side to side, feel your shoulders moving onto either side of that mat or blanket. Your palms are facing up, so that way the shoulders start to soften down, and you're just breathing. Allow yourself to breathe and start to expand into the blanket or into the roll. That's it. Every exhale, you'll feel your shoulders start to soften. And if this feels good and you want a little deeper of a stretch, you can try and straighten your legs. Sometimes that feels good, sometimes it doesn't. If it doesn't feel good, come right back to knees bent. Good. And then we're going to add our arms here. So you're going to inhale those arms up, maybe not all the way up, and then exhale them down. Big inhale here. Good, and big exhale. So I picked this exercise because a lot of us spend time on our computer and the upper back begins to round. And it feels really tight. And in that same way, we start to hold tension there. So just keep moving with your breath here. The back body starts to kind of just harden and round. And so we need to bring in more support. So having that roll behind you allows those muscles to start to release. We'll do 3 more like that. Inhaling. Good. And exhaling. Lifting those arms up. And then lowering them back down. Last one. Good. You can rebend your knees now and just take a couple extra breaths. If you want to stay in this one, feel free to pause this video and come back to it later. But let yourself breathe. You can do this one. You can hold it for like 7 minutes if you want. So know that this is something nice you can do even if you're just feeling kind of tight in your back. It also helps to open the front of the chest. So that's another important aspect of this. So let's take one more deep breath. And then we'll roll over to our right side. And again, just let yourself find that steadiness before you come up. So instead of using your legs to lift yourself up, press down through your hands and come all the way up. Perfect. From here, we're gonna come in and do a child's pose, and then we'll come in and do our breath work. So child's pose, and you can use your blanket or your roll. Bring it now horizontal on your mat. Bring your big toes to touch and your knees apart so that you have a little bit of space here for your torso. And then we're gonna start to lean forward. And I'm gonna bring it so that my elbows can rest on my mat. So it just gives a little extra lift here, and you can feel your back body start to soften. Move your hips a little side to side. Let your hips start to release. And then come back to your breath. So just notice your inhale and notice your exhale. And this is a great pose to just turn within. So let yourself turn within. Let yourself really connect right where you are. Feel yourself filling up with breath on the inhale and then emptying out your breath on the exhale. That's it. Let's take 2 more deep breaths here. And then we'll slowly make our way on up. And notice how nice that feels. And then you can actually take that roll or whatever you're using and use it underneath you for your seat. If you want, you can even sit with your back against the wall. But having something underneath your seat, especially towards the back of the seat, is going to lift the hips. It's going to lift the back of the pelvis to release some tension here. So this week we've been talking about finding joy. And one of those ways is by giving ourselves support in these kinds of poses. These are more towards the restorative or therapeutic end of yoga. But we can allow ourselves all different ways to express that and feel that, and allow yourself even to stay in a pose like that for a little bit longer. So that's just something that you can have in your toolbox to help you find that peacefulness, that self-care, that self-love. So now as we take our comfortable seat, it's going to be a little bit easier to sit up. It's going to be a little bit easier to relax into what you've got. So with your hands on your knees, you can have your hands turning down, or if you want to feel more energized, maybe receive a little bit more, turn your palms to face up. And then with your eyes closed, just start to turn within. So you can inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth. Inhaling and exhaling. Big inhale and big exhale. And come back to a more natural breath now, maybe breathing in and out through your nose, or still in through your nose and out through your mouth. But giving yourself the space here this morning to just be present with what you have. Start at the top of your head with your awareness. Begin to relax your scalp, your eyes, your ears, your nose and your mouth. Begin to soften your jaw. Feel your shoulders move away from your ears. Notice the expansion of your inhale and the softening of your exhale through your whole torso. Feel your hips as they begin to release in a deeper way. And then even begin to allow your arms and your legs to soften. Start to notice the flow of your breath now, the flow of your inhale and your exhale, and just notice where you feel that breath. Notice what your body does with that breath. And as you feel yourself starting to settle, just start to notice any sounds around you, whether they're far away or closer in. Start to notice the sensation of the air on your skin. The clothing on your body. Even start to notice the way that the floor feels underneath you. And then come back to your breath. Come back to that inhale and exhale. Just connecting right where you are with what you have. If you'd like, you can start to count your inhale and your exhale. 1 for the inhale, 2 for the exhale, going all the way up to 10. And then starting back at 1. Allow yourself the space here to wander a little, to notice when your mind wanders, and to gently, without judgment, just bring yourself back. Pick up on whatever number you left off on, or start again. Know that this is a practice like everything else in life. And the practice starts when we show up. When we show up physically, when we show up mentally, when we show up emotionally, even if we're a puddle on the floor. Just gently coming back, noticing when you wander, and then bringing yourself back to that inhale and the exhale. Just noticing even where you feel that breath in your nose. We'll take 3 more breaths here. And then begin to let your mind go wherever it wants to go now. You can start to blink your eyes open, bring some movement to your fingers and to your toes. And maybe even stretch out your arms and your legs, just taking one last stretch here. Coming back with your hands in front of your heart, just sitting however is comfortable. And thank yourself for showing up, for letting yourself move and breathe and connect. We honor this practice. We honor each other, we honor our community, we honor our healthcare heroes. So we bow to each other. Namaste. Thank you all so much for watching. This has been Nicole Traum with Lead Health's Healthcare Heroes Self-Care Moment. Feel free to come back and do this one when you're feeling tight. Share it with your friends. We'll be back on Monday at 6:40 a.m. Hope to see you then. Bye.